So just to see him execute, like I was like, come on, Cairo, like this is your get back, man. This is what you wanted. And I think he mentioned in the press conference that talking to one of a reporter or something that him and his wife prayed for this, hopefully that this situation would come back up. And for that to come back up, and to be a walk-off game-winning field goal, it was like I said, it was just poetic, man. It was beautiful to see.
Good blocking on the perimeter, and that opens it up for Tyler Scott.
It's over. Finally, the Bears get a win, not only over the Packers, which should have been the second one this year, but did it in Green Bay at the end of the year. Caleb Williams, undefeated in Lambeau Field. You love to see it. We've got so much to talk about with Tyler Scott. But before we do that, I want to let you know that the world's largest sports book in Las Vegas is right at your fingertips in Illinois. The Circus Sports app is sports betting the way it should be. Bet anywhere in Illinois and experience high betting limits, better money line splits, more in-game betting, and the best customer service. Download your new bookie today. Visit circusports.com and start betting like a pro from anywhere in Illinois. And if you or someone you know has a problem with gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234. All right. The Bears have done it. It is over. And here to talk about it is my guy, Tyler Scott. Round of applause. You did it. I don't have to sit. I was sitting there at the golf course the other day, and some guy pulls up in his car. It was a Solaris. What a convertible Solaris. And he had his little Green Bay sticker on it. He had green, I'm not kidding you, green and yellow golf shoes, a Packers golf bag. And I'm like, hey, I go, did you know Caleb Williams is undefeated in Lambeau Field? And the guy didn't get mad. He was just like, that's a good quarterback. It wasn't what I expected. He was like, yeah, Caleb's really good. I was very impressed with him. I'm like, oh. But how did it feel to not only end the streak, but to get a win at Lambeau Field?
Oh, amazing, man. Just to be able to rush the field like that. Like, I remember them rushing the field on us when they blocked our kick. And honestly, like I felt so happy for Cairo, and him being in pretty much the exact same situation. Like, it was so like poetic. Like, the way we got there, Caleb driving down the field, us being in relatively close score to what it was last time. Exact same situation. I think the kick was just a little bit farther this time, and the same way we lost is the same way we won. And for the field goal unit to finally, hanker down and to be able to just get their revenge, man, and just to have a walk off in Lambeau. It's been in Lambeau. I think it's even been even longer since the streak. I think it was since 2015. Since we had one in in Lambeau. 2018 since we had last just beat them. 2015. I think I was maybe going to my freshman year in high school, 8th grade.
Yeah.
Man.
You were very young. Not that you're old now, but you were very young.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. But yeah, just to be able to get that win, to be able to rush the field, it was amazing. So it was a well deserved win, guys. I mean, we worked hard. To finally come out on top, it feels good.
It's funny. I will tell you where I'm an old person, so it doesn't really matter. But my daughter, who's pictured up in this photo up here, it was her first Thanksgiving the last time the Bears won a game at Lambeau Field. It was the Brett Favre retirement night. Jay Cutler went out there and destroyed. Jay Cutler was our quarterback. He destroyed all that. And I remember I was very emotional because I'm sure that I've mentioned this before. Both my parents are gone. So, like, to think about my daughter's first Thanksgiving was a Bears victory over the Packers was very meaningful. Didn't think I was going to have to wait till she was nearly 10 years old to experience and win again.
Yeah.
But it's an amazing thing, and it is a great way to cap off the season.
Yeah.
How scared were you, though, for Cairo? Because as much as you're like, oh my, like, you want to win but you're like, oh my God, please. Like, I know, like, when my girls take penalty kicks, like, I can't look. I'm so nervous. How are you on the sideline? How How are you dealing with those wide range of emotions?
Yeah, I was just like, man, this cannot. So I'll take you back. So we got the ball, and I want to say we came out. We were driving. I think we had like maybe like 4 minutes left or something like that, and uh, we get to when Caleb throws that ball to DJ and he fumbles. So DJ fumbles the ball, and I think at that point we're up. I was like, no way. And we gave him great field position. Like where we fumbled, it was like, man, this is a good field position for him. And so I was like, no way. Like I remember like vividly having like just in my mind, like almost just chuckling, just like this is not about to happen. No, we're not about to do this. So
Yeah.
then, like I said, we get the ball up. They go. He kicks this nasty line drive, uh, knuckleball, and he makes it. And I'm like, okay, we still got like 50. I think it was 58 seconds left in the game.
Yeah.
I was like, we can't go that. We can't go out like this. And so we're obviously we get the ball back. We try reverse, see if we can catch them off guard again, like we did early on special teams. And they covered it well. And so we get the ball back. I'm seeing us drive. I'm like, okay, we're handling what we need to do, which is something that I think even over the past year, I think what you've seen from Caleb is he has this trait to be able to be clutch in the fourth quarter. Just when we need a drive, like he's able to keep us in it, to be able to get us in position to possibly win the game. We've done that. He's done that several times over the course of the season. So I think that's very encouraging to see. Side note, but he did it again. Getting us in position to win the game. Has some connections with Keenan and Rome. Beautiful toe tap on the sideline. And then we had our play, kind of like in the game scenario where we had, can't remember the exact time, it was probably around 15 or so seconds left.
15 seconds. Yeah. They say that it usually takes 12 seconds to catch the ball and spike it.
Yeah.
We had 15.
Yeah. So I remember we had our end of game play drawn up, and I'm like, when we got in that formation, I'm like, this never works. Like defenses, like they know what's coming. They're just guarding the sideline, and I'm like, usually ends up in some type of foul ball situation. So I'm like, but what was awesome to see was Caleb. Just in that heat of the moment, he kind of checks the play to DJ. He see DJ singled up one-on-one outside. The guy's playing him outside leverage. The middle of the field was wide open.
Yeah.
And so he gives DJ a signal to signal him like, hey, you're doing a slant here. And so beautiful way to recognize it. DJ gets the ball, catches it, gets a couple yards, gets down, spike it. 2 seconds left. I was just super happy for the offense, for them to be able to come together and to have a drive to put us in that same type of position that we were when we first played them. And so now we have Cairo, who is finally getting his opportunity once again. And I honestly didn't feel any discouragement or necessarily doubt. I felt like he learned from the first time. As well as the front line, and to see him execute, like I was like, come on, Cairo, like this is your get back, man. This is what you wanted. And I think he mentioned in the press conference that talking to one of a reporter or something, that him and his wife prayed for this, hopefully that this situation would come back up, and for that to come back up. And to be a walk-off game-winning field goal, it was like I said, it was just poetic, man. It was beautiful to see, and I definitely was nervous for sure, though. I definitely was nervous, but I definitely had a lot of confidence that we would get it right this time.
I like that you're also experiencing what life is like as a Bears fan, where you're like, we can't go out like this, not DJ, like we don't, especially somebody you don't want that to be the thing. Like, hey, if something happens, if the defense breaks down or they actually make a good play, you're like, okay, you can accept that, but you don't want it to be on you. So I like that you're already. I feel
like you kind of gave it to him. Yeah,
we can't give this team the satisfaction of doing this. I did love too, because obviously the first time, there was some discussion about whether we should have run another play or not, try to get closer for Cairo, all this or that. Here, there's nothing, there's no discussion. Like it's a clutch moment that needs to happen. And it was also, I don't know if you take this away, but for me, because I'll go around and I'll watch some of the guys that create Packers content. I'm friends with some of the Packers creators. And to watch them, how mad they get, because the Packers, if you saw it, you were describing it like they left the middle of the field open. They're basically playing for a Hail Mary. And you're like, hey, idiots, we can still spike the – okay,
still got 15 seconds left. Yeah.
Still got 15 seconds. Like even Matt LaFleur talked about it. Like, usually, dude, you knew how much time was on the clock.
Yep.
So to see them melt down, because it's usually us, melting down, like, what do we do? Like, no, we were doing it. And like you said, Caleb makes the right call, the spike, everything's perfect. Can I tell you something weird too? Like this weirdly gives me, and I have no reason for, I have no obvious, I don't know him. I've talked to him. Torrey Taylor just gives me confidence. When I saw him I'm like, we got it. Like I see Torrey, like he looks fine. I'm fine. I don't know why. It's kind of like when you're on a plane and you hit some turbulence, but you see somebody in a uniform who's just not sweating anything.
We're good. Yeah,
we're good. And I don't know what it is about Torrey, but it's like, if he's not worried, then I'm not worried. I don't know if it's the Australian confidence or whatever it is. It just weirdly gives me a lot of confidence to go out there. Is there somebody that you look forward to? Like, is there somebody who's like a rock for you that's like, okay, well, they're not nervous. I feel like Caleb's kind of got that too.
Yeah, Caleb definitely has a confidence to him for sure. I know before we went out there, I told him, I was like, hey man, like go win it, man. Like this is your opportunity. Like we haven't done it since 2015 here in Lambeau. We haven't won since 18. I'm like, man, go make history. And we were sitting there. I was like, man, we haven't won since 2016. Then he gets in the locker room. He tells the team, he's like, yeah, we haven't won since 2015. I'm like,
so he got that from you.
I'm like, give me my credit. I was sitting.
I was impressed. Oh my God, yeah. Because he said that in the post-game thing when he's giving the ball to Thomas Brown and everything. And he's like, hey, we haven't won since. I'm like, oh, look at him. I didn't realize that he would know how long it's been. And you were the one who was feeding him his lines.
Maybe I'm not going to say I was the one that fed it, but maybe I was the one that confirmed it. I'll say that. Maybe I confirmed it for him or reminded him. But, I just remember just sitting there. I'm like, hey, man, go win it. And he had the look in his eyes like, yeah, let's go do it. And so, I mean, he definitely had that confidence as well as DJ. Like, I love when, just the way DJ was playing the whole game. That's really when I had, like, just watching the way he was playing, I'm like, it's one of those games for him. And I could tell he's in that mode. So I'm like, if he gets the ball in his hands. And once I seen Caleb signal out to him, a hot route, I'm like, oh yeah. We're in good hands. So it just everything worked, you know what I'm saying, as far as the execution from the offense, driving down Caleb to DJ being, clock awareness, getting down, as well as the offensive line. That's just as important with them, rushing down the field to get set, and not just being watchers, but understanding the situation, getting down there, getting set, the center, Shelton, like him, that's important as well. Understanding that the referee has to go, and we call it blessing the ball, before we can actually snap it. Just having that awareness, DJ having the awareness to stay where he's at, let the center come to him, Shelton, having given it to the ref blessing it, putting the ball down, spiking it, 2 seconds left, everyone getting set, on the ball, off the ball. It was just great operation, which, it seems like we had fell short a couple of times throughout the season, but to finally, last game of the season, have it come together and operation be what it needed to be at the most crucial time of the game was, it was good.
You mentioned that Caleb had a number of opportunities, and the offense, I should say as well, had a number of opportunities during the course of the season, against the Commanders, obviously, against the Packers the first time, Minnesota, Detroit on Thanksgiving. When you're talking about the redemption of Cairo Santos, couldn't you also say this was a sort of for Caleb and the offense in general, but for Caleb, like, I feel like his rookie season doesn't get looked upon the way it should because he's not getting credit for those wins. But now that was kind of a stamp of like, this is the player that he is, and this is going to be the guy moving forward.
Yeah, no, I mean 1,000%. Just like I said, I think when the outcome and you look at the results of the games, they don't come out to what they what we necessarily want them to be. Obviously, winning. It's kind of overlooked, kind of what happened. You know what I'm saying? Like the context of those losses sometimes. And so you're just looking at the final score, not looking at, okay, what happened in this loss? How do we get here? All those things are just so important. I mean, I thought when we scored against Washington, they're late. I think they had maybe 13 seconds left, and Caleb drives us down the field. I'm like, and just the way we had got there, I'm like, man, we won. Like this is, I'm like, we executed, we won, like we did it. Same thing with the Minnesota. It was a lot that happened that game. I mean, as far as special teams had a hand in that with Cairo and the onside kick, DJ and Caleb connecting, Rome, connecting as well, with Caleb. So like I said, I think when like those games, those outcomes don't come out as W's, then it's kind of overlooked on, exactly what he did and understanding like this is the ultimate team game and that sometimes a player or one side of the ball can do everything that they can to put us in position to win, but it takes all three phases. And if one phase fails in a certain scenario, in a very crucial part, that the other phase that may have done so well could get overlooked. And I think that was oftentimes the product of that with Caleb.
Yeah, it is one of those things too. Yeah, and I try not to get worked up about it because when I see like people's, here's the list of rookies, the top rookies this year, and you're like, okay. If Caleb's not in your top three, then I understand what people are looking at. They're looking at wins and they're watching their fantasy teams and they're doing all that stuff like that without really taking an appreciation of everything that you just described, the things that went on. And sometimes you're just a little bit snake bitten, but like you said, this was an instance where where we finally had things go in our favor. They made the critical, like, hey, let's like that is a thing, like, not to besmirch anybody who might or might not have been coaching this team, but like putting you in a prevent defense with 15 seconds left and leaving the field wide open down the middle might not have been the best call. And it's nice that in our instance, it was our side getting the benefit of that. There was a lot of cool images after the game. Now, obviously, I don't know what Cairo Santos was doing with his hands, whatever. I'll leave that to be him.
Might be like a Brazilian soccer thing, or
I think it was too. Yeah, I didn't know who the player was because I think I've seen Martinelli do that as well. But it's funny because there's a lot of images of people like obviously Jalen Johnson might have offered an obscene gesture to some fans. Jonathan Owens was doing.
He prayed for Christian Watson at the same time.
You know what? Yeah, I think it was cool.
He was down, and then at the end of the game,
What was that like? What were you hearing on the field? Well, I'm sure that you weren't getting a lot of niceties from that demure Packers fan. That Midwest nice didn't seem so nice. There were people like there's an image. I forget who there's a woman in a beanie just screaming. I forget. I think it might have been at DeMarcus Walker, but just screaming like, "Good Lord, people! You're going to the playoffs. Have some chill."
Oh, they were so upset, man. It was so. It felt so good how hostile it felt and how tight it felt in the stadium once we won. And as we're rushing onto the field, we're all jumping up and down, all over. And then they show. I seen it after, but they showed Jordan Love.
Oh, I love
taking off his. I was like,
that was one of my favorite images.
Oh man, it's beautiful. And but yeah, no, I mean when we were there last year, it was a super hostile crowd. One thing I do love about it though is that they stand the whole time. Like that's one thing I've noticed. I noticed that last year, but I really recognized it this year. But like Bears fans, Packers, they stand the whole game. I mean, I don't know if that's I don't know where that necessarily comes from, but I think it's just a cool. I think it's just a cool. Because what's the word I'm trying to look for?
Tradition, so to speak.
Yeah, like a tradition, or just it just makes everyone feel. I guess more like kind of just a part. You know what I'm saying? I feel like everyone just feels just that much more a part and that much more into it. throughout the whole game. And so even in the boring and kind of dull times when no one's necessarily scoring or, we're just, kicking the ball back and forth, it's just cool to see everyone just staying in the whole game and just how intense and into it everyone is.
Don't give them too much credit because it's metal bleachers, and I don't think that they want to sit down.
That's what I was going to say. I don't think they have any backs. Do they have any backs either?
Some of them, some parts of the stadium have seat backs, but some of them don't. Now
it's still kind of old school there.
But they put they do go out there in the cold. They support their team and they do that stuff. And obviously they're going to the playoffs, and so it wasn't as meaningful to them as it might have been. But still, they were out there supporting, and they were upset. Which again shows like as much as they love to talk like, oh, Bears, like Packers fans are always in your heads or whatever. And it's like, which is true. It's like you guys have been the standard for a long time. The Packers have been the standard in the NFC North for a long time.
Sure.
And now it's shifting a little bit until Ben Johnson becomes our coach. Don't react to that. Don't react to that. Don't take the bait. Don't take the bait, Tyler. I'm not asking you. We're not talking about that. We'll talk to you when we hire a coach. We'll talk. Don't take the bait. Don't listen to me. But it's one of those things like, yeah, of course, like you've been the division winner. Like we're looking up to you. But you guys always come to us as much as we come to you. And you're always talking your mess and you're always doing my friends who create Packers content always love to make fun of the Bears, which shows it means something to them too. So don't try to front Packers fans. It means something to you.
Right.
And it means something that we went out there and won. And I'm so thrilled for everybody on the team. I was so bummed out. I'm like, don't start anybody. Like, let's forget it. Like, let's just call it off. Like, let's just, but I'm glad now in hindsight that we got the win and we got all that stuff going. And it's a great way to go into the offseason. And there's going to be so much stuff going on with the head coaching search. I'm not going to put you on the spot. I know we want an offensive minded coach. There it is. That's all we need to know. We want to score more points next year. We got Caleb Williams. We've got a great nucleus on offense. We got to get better. What I do want to see, though, you got to have a sports card for us, I hope. And I want to let everybody know that at Windy City Sports Cards, they specialize in buying and selling all things related to Chicago sports. Whether you are a fan of the Bears, Bulls, Cubs, White Sox, Blackhawks, Sky, Fire, we've got you covered with an extensive selection of sports memorabilia and collectibles. And if you're a fan of other teams, like Tyler, probably grew up a Kenny Lofton fan. If he wants a Kenny Lofton something, I don't know, pair of autographed gloves, Omar Epps, although he was the worst, Willie Mays Hayes. Who was the other guy? It was Wesley Snipes. And anyways, our friends at Windy City Sports, they have got you covered. And did you bring a card for us today?
I did.
What do we got?
Now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, did I don't know. I don't think I pulled this one out before.
If not, I'll tell another long-winded story about it, and it'll be fun.
No, I did. I definitely brought one. I just can't remember if I actually showed this one yet or not. But if I have, it's always good to see it again because I think it's probably one of my favorite cards in the collection. So
we won't hold it against you if it is.
Okay, cool. So this week, we're actually on the baseball side. But yeah, this is actually because people ask me all the time, like, hey, what's your favorite card in your collection? And this is one of the cards that comes to mind for me. I just think it's a cool card. Love the player. But yeah, so this is does this look familiar?
Shohei Ohtani. You have definitely never brought that one out.
Okay.
I would have known.
So this is a rookie Shohei Ohtani. I know there's like a glare there, but it's actually numbered as well. It's numbered 25 out of 199.
Ooh, nice.
So I got this from a friend when I was back in Cincinnati, actually in college. And he had it and gave me a nice little deal on it. But yeah, it's one of my favorite cards that I have in my collection. Love Shohei. And then I'm a huge Optic guy, and I love Optic for football as well.
Yeah.
And then as well, it's a numbered rookie as well. So yeah, I love it. Great condition card. So that's the card this week.
I love it. And no hard feelings, even though he no longer plays for the Angels. I actually am at such peace with it. And I know that Angel fans get upset. There's a lot of deferred money going on with the Los Angeles Dodgers. And I'm like, whatever. Like, why can't, like, I enjoyed Shohei Ohtani's time with the Angels, and everybody needs. And it's funny because you probably got that card at a discount because for the first 3 years of his Major League Baseball career, he was fine. But his second season was the COVID year. Then he had his first Tommy John surgery, and wasn't really Ohtani until the final 3 seasons of his Angels stint, which when Mike Trout was battling all of his injuries. So they never really played together, which I know everybody says like, oh, how'd you squat? I'm like, they didn't play together really.
Yeah.
They played like 50 games together. Like,
yeah.
But it's a great card, and I'm happy for him. He seems like a nice guy.
Tough World Series, though.
Yeah, you know what? Tough World Series. That's the one thing. That was I know a lot of Angel fans took pride in that. Like, hey, he folded. Like, who cares? Like, let him go out and do his thing.
That was tough. And he got hurt there as well. If I'm not mistaken. I just want to see him pitch.
He was sliding into second base. But yeah, he'll get an opportunity to pitch this year for the Dodgers.
Yeah,
we used to go. So my daughter used to figure this out. We would always go when he was pitching, you could buy tickets behind the bullpen. And everybody's like, you're so far away. You're like, no. You get there early enough, and he's warming up before the game. So you're like 10 feet from Shohei Ohtani.
Okay. Yeah.
So you had like a half hour of him. And it was cool. The Angel pitchers would come out and watch him throw his bullpen session. And it was so funny. One time it was, who was the guy? Who was, Patrick Sandoval. My daughter was a huge Patrick Sandoval fan. So you're trying to call, and like the players when they're in the bullpen, all these people are calling their names because they want autographs or whatever. Yep. And so their players are really good at ignoring people. And I'm like, Patrick, this at the time she was 7. But a 7-year-old girl just wants you to wave. Can you look at her, please? We don't want an autograph. And he looked up real quick, and my daughter waved, and he acknowledged her, and then went back to his thing. Right. So it was really cool. You know, it was a lot of fun going back. So. As much as
that was a great dad moment. That was a great dad moment.
It was awesome. Like, it was so much fun, like going to those things. And my dog was smart. My daughter was the one who figured it out. She was like, let's go to the bullpen. And I'm like, oh, if we go early enough. And one time when we finally started bringing when my boy got old enough to bring him, the first time that he laid eyes on Shohei Ohtani, he grabbed his sister and he's like, Beverly, it's Shohei Ohtani. It's Ohtani. He was so stoked. And I'm like, you know what? This is it. This is, like, I don't care where he plays in the future or anything like that. Like, that moment are the ones that matter the most. And, of course, having the cards and all that stuff also matters as well. But that's it. That's all I got for you, Tyler. First of all, thank you. And thanks to everybody on the Chicago Bears for beating the Packers. I can't tell you how much my life has changed since Sunday.
Did you pick us to win?
Obviously, I picked us. You can go back and find that thing online. Everybody, like, I pick Denver a lot too. So the Denver fans have noticed that I've kind of backed them. So it's always funny. And a lot of times I'm fading the public. Obviously I was fading the public on Sunday, and there'll be Bears fans who'll be like, if nobody got me, I know that Adam Rank got me, and they'd screen grab it and everything. The previous 9 weeks I was lampooned, but this one, I get to go out a winner. Which is the most important. So I'm happy for you. I'm happy for everybody on the team, Caleb, DJ, but everybody involved with the organization. It's huge. There's a lot of fun stuff going on, but I appreciate you being here throughout the season. What are you going to do over the next couple? What's your routine like now?
I usually, guys try to, take more of a mental break, from football. I like to continue to work out. Workouts a little differently than it is during season, but that's what I'm about to do here after we leave. But yeah, I like to work out for a little time period. Not necessarily. Sit back, watch football. I know that we got college going on. Like to watch the playoffs to see guys compete at the end of the day. Take a vacation, maybe 1 or 2. Get out, do some things, see the world a little bit. Got some time, extra money, so. Get out a little bit, and then then you get back to the grind, preparing for the OTAs and camp and stuff like that. But the biggest thing is just taking more of like a mental break, so you can come back refreshed and ready to go.
All right, well, you go out and enjoy yourself, enjoy your workout. Thank you so much for being here. I'm sure we'll connect soon in the near future, especially when we hire a coach. We got to get your insights on that. So go do your thing. Take care of yourself, and we'll see you soon. So thanks again for being here. And that's all I got for you. So for Tyler, I'm Adam. We'll see you soon. Bear down. And Sammy, go ahead and play us out.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with Adam Rank on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcast. Brought to you by Circa Sports Illinois.